All right, so sorry I have to do this in two parts, but I had to stop this morning when I started this video. So here's number 3, example number 3. It says Jill collects nickels and quarters. Her bank now holds 30 coins with a total value of $5.10. How many quarters does she have? Again, I'm only looking for quarters here. Now, again, we can create our own variables, but the information that we're talking about is nickels and quarters. Okay, so I'm going to change nickels to N and quarters to Q. Okay, so my variables are N for nickels, and again, I'm just going to identify what they mean, and Q for quarters. Okay, now this is very similar to the bell ringer problem that we had this morning. So I need to know, I know that her bank holds a total of 30 coins. Again, when you see this word coins, you know that you're dealing with just the pieces of metal. Okay, you don't care about the value of the coins. So it holds 30 coins. Well, she's only got nickels and quarters in there. So you're going to do nickels, the coin, plus quarters, the coin, equals 30 total coins. Now, it has a value. That word value means that we need to add money now. Now we're dealing with money. So we have to make this N equal to something. We have to have some value. It's not equal to something, but you have to give it some value. So a nickel, like we did earlier, is 0.05 N plus, make sure it's 0.05. Okay, don't make that mistake of making it 50 cents on accident. Plus a quarter now is 0.25 Q. So if I take all my nickels at 5 cents a piece and all my quarters at 5 cents a piece, they need to equal $5.10. So there's our system. Okay, now let's go ahead and solve this system. It's set up already for us to do elimination. I'm just going to rewrite it. I'm going to work over here. So N plus Q equals 30. 0.05 N plus 0.25 Q equals $5.10. Again, the bonus or the good thing about having these is that there is no coefficient, or I'm sorry, the coefficient is 1. I can turn this into anything I need. So that way all I have to do is multiply by the right number, and I don't have to do anything to this one. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the first one. So let's multiply by 0.05. If I multiply by 0.05, these are going to match. But this one's positive, so I've got to make this 0.05 negative. Okay, so 0.05 times N is negative 0.05 N. Negative 0.05 times Q is minus 0.05 Q. Negative 0.05 times 30 is negative 1.5. I didn't do anything to this here, so I'm going to bring it down. And I have 0.05 N plus 0.25 Q equals 5.10. A lot of decimals, so be careful. When I add these together, that cancels. Okay, if I take 5 cents away from 25 cents, I end up with 0.20 Q equals, okay, $5.10 minus $1.50, or negative 1.5 plus 5.10 equals $3.60. To get Q by itself, I divide both sides by 0.20. 0.20. That's going to cancel. My quarters is going to be 3.6 divided by 0.20 equals 18. So according to this, I have 18 quarters. To find out how many nickels I have, I just got to take this quarters and plug it back into one of these two equations. The easiest one to plug it into is this first one right here. So I'm going to do N, because I still don't know what the nickels are, plus quarters now is 18. I don't have to put Q, equals 30. To solve for N, I just subtract 18 from both sides. N equals 12. So I have 12 nickels and 18 quarters. Well, let's make sure that makes sense. So let's do 18 quarters times 25 cents, and how much money does that give you? Well, $4.50. Okay? Let's do 12 nickels times 0.05 for 5 cents. How much does that give you? It gives you 60 cents. Do $4.50 plus 60 cents equal $5.10? Absolutely. It satisfies this. Therefore, that's the right answer. 18 quarters, 12 nickels. All right. Let's move on. Excuse me. Got two more examples to go through. It says for their season opener, the freshman basketball team sold 90 tickets for a total of $334. The adult tickets for the game cost $5, and the student tickets cost $3. How many adult tickets were sold? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, another way to look at this to make it a little easier, is start to identify what two things am I talking about. Here, excuse me, I'm talking about a quantity, and then here, I'm talking about money or a monetary value. So if I know those two things, I'm going to make an equation with dealing with quantity, and I'm going to make an equation dealing with money. Okay? So now all I'm really looking for is the adult tickets. I know on the last one all I was looking for was quarters, but I went ahead and found the nickels as well. But all I'm looking for here is adult tickets. So my variables is going to be A to represent adults and S to represent students. Make sure you write your S clearly that doesn't look like a 5. All right, so let's start with our quantity equation. So there's a total of 90 tickets sold. So that means I sold several types of tickets for a total of 90 tickets. Well, the two types of tickets I'm dealing with are student tickets and adult tickets. So I'm going to take my A students, the number of A tickets, plus my number of S tickets, and that should equal 90. So that's one equation. Dealing with quantity. This is our quantity equation. Well, I said another one I'm talking about is money. So I have to factor in money somewhere. So it says a total. Again, when you say total, it's going to equal $334. Now, somehow I've got to attach money to this A and attach money to this S. Well, an adult ticket for the game costs $5. So that's the money part. So you would put $5 in front of that A. Student tickets cost $3. So you put $3 in front of the S. And now you have a second equation that is dealing specifically with money. So now I have two equations. Again, they're set up for elimination. It says elimination here. So let's go ahead and solve. I'm going to rewrite my equation over here to give myself some room. A plus S equals 90. 5A plus 3S equals 334. Hopefully you're finding that a lot of times when you do the word problem, I told you in class the word problem's harder to get from the word problem to the equation, but once you get the equations, your system's actually easier to solve because a lot of them are not going to have coefficients. So when I go to solve this one, I can turn this A or S into anything I want. Again, I'm just going to start with the first one. I'm going to start with A. Let's eliminate A. Actually, you know what? Let's shortcut it here. No, let's start with A. I don't want to shortcut. I want to make sure we get the right answer for start. So let's start with A. So if I want to turn A into something that looks like this, I've got to multiply A by 5. If I multiply A by 5, it's just going to match that, but I have to make it opposite, so I'm going to make it a negative. So negative 5 times A is negative 5A. Negative 5 times S is negative 5S. Negative 5 times 40, negative 5 times 90 is negative 450. I didn't have to do anything with this because I did the right number up here, so I'm just going to bring that down. And it's going to be 5A plus 3S equals 334. Add these straight down. Negative 5A plus 5A cancels. Negative 5 plus 3 is a negative 2S equals negative 450 plus 334 equals negative 116. To solve for S, divide both sides by negative 2. And S equals 58. So there are 58 student tickets sold. Okay, I need to find adult tickets, so I'm going to have to go in, plug this into one of my equations to solve for A. This one's clearly the easiest one again, so let's plug it in. I'm going to have A plus 58 instead of S now equals 90. Subtract 58 from both sides. That's going to cancel. A equals 90 minus 58 equals 32. So A equals 32. So according to my work, there were 32 tickets sold for the adults and 58 for the students, but all I care about the adults. Okay, so let's make sure that's right. It's 32 plus 58, 90. It sure is. Okay, now if I do 32 times $5, and we're just checking our answer here, that's a value of $160. If I do 58 times $3, that's going to give me a value of $174. Does 174 plus 160 equal 334? It absolutely does. We want to make sure we get the right answer, and that's a way to check your answer. So it is 90 here and 334 here. That matches both of our criteria. All right, and the last one. It says Jason and a group of his friends went out to eat pizza on 2 different occasions. The first time the bill was $21.14 for 4 sodas and 2 medium pizzas. The second time the bill was $39.70 for 6 sodas and 4 medium pizzas. What would be the bill for 1 soda and 1 pizza? Now you got to be very careful here. Okay? On this one, it's asking you kind of a tricky question. What we need to do is we need to figure out the price of sodas and medium pizzas. Okay? Now, this is really good because it really gives you an equation already. Okay, if we change S to equal sodas, okay, it makes sense, and P to equal pizzas. There's our variables. Now, here's our system. This is pretty simple. 4S plus 2P equals $21.14. This is a very simple one to write. Okay? And then you have 6S, plus 4P equals $39.70. Excuse me. Now, I can go ahead and solve this. Again, it's set up for elimination. This isn't quite as easy as the other ones, but it's still set up for elimination. So, 4S plus 2P equals $21.14. And 6S plus 4P equals $39.70. Now again, can I turn 4 into 6? No. Can I turn 6 into 4? No. Can I turn 2 into 4? I absolutely can. That's going to make this a little bit easier. So how would I turn 2 into 4? I'd turn 2 into 4 by multiplying by 2. But I need it to be, because this one's a positive 4, I need this one to be a negative, so I've got to multiply by negative 2. So negative 2 times S is negative 8S. Negative 2 times 2 minus 4P. Negative 2 times 21.14 is going to equal negative 42.28. Okay? Because I did the right number here, I don't have to do anything to the second one, so I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to have 6S plus 4P equals $39.70. Okay? Add these down. Negative 8 plus 6 is a negative 2S. Negative 4 plus 4 cancels. Equals negative 42.28 plus $39.70 is equal to negative $2.58. Divide both sides by negative 2. And I find out that each soda is worth $1.29. Okay? Now, the good thing is it's asking for the bill for 1 soda. Well, 1 soda equals $1.29. So that's your soda. Now I need to find out how much it costs for 1 pizza. Okay? Well, if I figure out the sodas, I can go back in and plug it into either equation to figure out what my P is. And either one is fine, but it's got to be one of these original equations. I'm just going to go ahead and use the top one because the numbers are slightly smaller. So 4 times 1.29, because I don't have to do S, because that S goes right there, plus 2P equals 21.14. Now I just need to solve for P. So 4 times 1.29 is 5.16 plus 2P equals 21.14. Subtract 516 from both sides. This is going to cancel out here. 2114 minus 516 is going to leave you with 2p equals $15.98. Divide both sides by p. P equals $7.99. So one pizza is $7.99, and that's a pizza. Okay. Now the question says, what would the bill be for one soda and one pizza? So if I'm feeling like gorging myself and having a whole pizza to myself, and I go in there at the restaurant to sit down, I have to add those together and say I'm going to pay $1.29 plus $7.99 for my pizza, and my total is going to be, let me write it down here, $1.29 plus $7.99. My total is going to be $9.28. So to answer the question, my answer would be $9.28. Okay, again, not a lot of difference between yesterday's notes and these notes. There won't be a lot of difference between the next notes either. It's just a matter of seeing it over and over and over again, seeing how I operate, hopefully giving you a starting point for your operation as far as solving these problems. I hope this helps you. Good luck on tonight's homework, and I'll see you tomorrow.